There were days I went home and my husband would fall asleep, but I'd put my head in my pillow and I'd cry quietly, because I was thinking, what am I doing to my family? I'm working nonstop. I'm eating, sleeping, breathing, everything DBs. And are we going to make it through financially? And my husband said, are we going to be on the street? How are we going to get through this?
Howdy, y'all. I'm Elizabeth Gore. Welcome to The Big Idea from Yahoo Finance. As the co-founder of the small business funding platform, Hello Alice, it has always been my mission to ensure entrepreneurs have the tools they need to succeed. So let's cowboy up. Today's big idea question is, can I successfully pivot from one profession to a completely different industry? Our industry focus will be health-focused snacks. The global better-for-you snacks market is valued at $50 billion and is projected to reach over $70 billion by 2030. Joining me to talk about it today is the founder of DB's Organics, Dr. Dionne Laszlo-Baker. DB's Organics is a brand known for its organic frozen popsicles and fruit-based clean snacks. Dr. Dionne has grown the company from a small startup into a nationally recognized brand, including major retail distribution collaborations such as Disney licensing partnerships with a focus on healthier, indulgent treats for all your families. Here's Dr. Dionne. All right, Dr. Dionne, welcome to The Big Idea. We're so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm obsessed with your coat, so let's just start there. It's so
Thanks.
Cute. We're so excited to be surrounded here in the studio with your absolutely beautiful, tasty, wonderful products. Tell me how that started.
Oh my gosh. If you would have told me years ago I'd be here, I wouldn't believe you. I was finishing my PhD in an area of medical science called maternal fetal toxicology, and really didn't know anything about business. Minding my own business, doing my thing. But our son, we took him off all artificial ingredients, everything with added sugars, and it was really tough to find him treats. One day I was in the kitchen with my kids, and he was making popsicles, and he was making tea and his sister was making popsicles. And all of a sudden they were arguing over who was going to do what with mommy. And one of them said, "Mommy, let's make teasicles." Tea and
Ooh.
popsicles together. And I kind of had literally a light bulb go off. And I realized, oh my God, I've never heard of this. I can make something that David could eat and be proud of. And I could do something with a heart and a soul and build a company. Pretty naively at that time. I really didn't know anything. And that's how we got started.
You know, the mind of babes, right? I mean, you just think about if kids could start being entrepreneurs at 3, we'd all be geniuses, right? I mean, they always come up with the best things. And the fact you're such a good mama and you listened, look at what you've become. It's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, it is out of the mouth of babes, because they're so creative. Sometimes I think that we're held so tight,
Right.
that their minds are just open, it's amazing.
And I also, I have to thank you for your former career as a mama of a preemie, and I mean, look at what you've contributed to the world multiple times now. So, how did you go from your tea sickle kitchen to your first product? I mean, that's a heck of a leap.
It was a heck of a leap. And it was probably pretty good that I didn't know how hard it would be. So I had this light bulb. I went immediately. I'm a researcher by training and by heart. And I looked, is anyone making this kind of thing anywhere in the world? And nobody was. And I'm the type of person, my mom always said, oh my God, I'm giving up on you, because if there's a challenge, I'm like, bring it on. And if you tell me I can't do it, I'm like, watch me. And that's really kind of where we got started and how I pushed through. And, I had to figure out how to make a frozen novelty in Little Victoria, British Columbia, where I live, be in perfect condition when it arrives in Florida. If you think of every step of the way, it's crazy.
Girl. I mean, we're just crazy enough to be entrepreneurs, right? I mean, that's the whole thing, is you got to be just a little bit crazy to get there. And you are, because the way I think of your company, and when we chatted before, you weren't just making amazing products and figuring that out. You were figuring out cold chain, which is insane. I mean, let's jump to that for a second. I mean, how do you even figure that out? I can't imagine the amount of mistakes and, oh my Lord, learnings. Tell me.
Oh my gosh. I remember sending out product to Whole Foods that was frozen and calling a buyer once. And the answer was, "What do you want?" It actually wasn't hello. He had no idea who it was. And I was like, "Ugh, just want to hang up now. But is that did you receive my product?" And he said, "It was melted. Too bad for you."
Ooh.
You know, and so it was hard, that cold chain from when you buy the product or you buy the ingredients from the farm, and it's got to get, all along the way and kept frozen and in meticulous condition. It was very hard and it's expensive. And there is a big environmental footprint there. And when we had the opportunity to get out of frozen and into the ambient shelf stable world, we jumped on it.
And, you must have had products that you were in love with. First of all, how out of all the things you can create, how did you narrow down originally? Okay, these are the 2 to 3 SKUs I'm going to go out with. I mean, because small business owners, they have a lot of passions. And how did you do it? And what's your advice to them on how do you pick the one?
It's really, really good thought. I always tell younger or earlier stage entrepreneurs, think about SKU rationalization, like just go out with a few. So we went out with about 4 or 5, which was probably too many, but I didn't know at the time. And we went out with frozen novelties, which is tough. Our velocity wasn't great. And it was tough, really, really tough. We were self-funded. And then in 2016, when we came up with the idea to make the first organic all fruit freezy, and we launched it in 2017 and it went gangbusters. We kind of went, this is how you do it. One SKU with high velocity, um, creating a category, and the business really took off. It was just a major, major change in the company. And we got out of frozen completely.
What was the word skew? What did you say?
Rationalization.
Skew rationalization. Okay, I feel like we need t-shirts that say that because we all have products that we're in love with and we want to get them
Agree.
out to market. I mean, have you had a product that you just swore that it was going to work and you had to pull it?
Yeah. We've had a few. I mean, the frozen was the first, and then we also came out with something called Dip'ems, which we loved, but it was actually a fruit stick that you dipped into this powder, and you can lick off the fruit stick. Um, and we just could not get the pricing right, like in terms of we couldn't manufacture it at the price point where we could scale. And I'm looking at a box of it right now, and it was painful because I
You're
was
like
kind of
one
addicted
tier.
to it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was sad, but, you never know in the future maybe we can bring that back.
Absolutely. Now, I want to go back to that you bootstrapped. Tell me about that. What was the risk you took? Because it's you and your
Oh,
family, right? Kids and the whole deal.
the whole deal. For the first few years, it was just us. I would say my husband is to this day, my biggest supporter. I have this analogy where you each put each other's feet on your shoulders and you help them soar to the top. And we're both that way. But it was tough. We put everything we had into starting DBs. And I can remember a day in the grocery store, local grocery store, where I had bought a bunch of stuff. I was with the kids, bought groceries, and one credit card, they said, "Oh, ma'am, it didn't go through." And I'm trying another one. No, another one. No, another one of my kids. And they can see there's tears, my eyes are starting to go red and there's a lineup behind me. And one of my kids says, "Mommy, I've
Oh,
got some money." And I'm like, "Okay, take away everything, just like the milk and the bread, and we're good." And it was hard bootstrapping. There were days I went home and my husband would fall asleep and I'd put my head in my pillow and I'd cry quietly, because I was thinking, what am I doing to my family? I'm working nonstop. I'm eating, sleeping, breathing everything DBs. Um, and are we going to make it through financially? And my husband said, "Are we going to be on the street? Like, how are we going to get through this?"
hey,
So it was tough.
th- that is tough, and I admire you so much. And for those business owners, because everyone, no matter what business you're in, you're going to have that moment. What's your
Sure.
personal advice to the individual in that moment when they're crying in their pillow?
I would say make sure you're surrounded by people you can talk to. It's so, so important. I remember calling, I have a few fellow entrepreneurs that I go to when things are really, really tough, and we talk through it. Know what you're getting into as much as you can. You're still going to go through that pain point. It will happen. But have somebody, at least one person you can reach out to and cry your head off, and it's okay. If it's a coach, if it's a friend, if it's, probably needs to be someone in the business world who gets it. But I think that's really, really important. Or a partner that, like my husband.
So have that good cry, but then reach out to people you trust to pull you through or push you through, either way.
Yeah. Or to say, you know what, you need to know when to say, I think I've done everything I can here. Let's move on to the next idea. I'm wiser now. I mean, sometimes you need to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, we learn from our failures. And as speaking
Yeah.
of, on our show, we love to talk about dirty unicorns. So, which is your mistakes in business that we can all learn from. Do you have one you could share with us?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I do. I remember when we were in the frozen novelties when I first started, and we had tea popsicles sweetened with coconut sugar. And I thought, okay, people want really healthy. And what I discovered when a big retailer in the US called me and said, your product's not moving. This frozen novelty tea popsicle, not selling. Bring your trucks, pick it up, and get it out.
Oof.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, this is the end of the business. This is it. We're done. Like, this is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I can't even afford to send you a truck, let alone multiple trucks to all your DCs. And, you know, we got through it, but it almost took us out. And that was part of what made me decide we're getting out of frozen. And also, the buyer said one thing to me: taste is king.
Hmm.
So you might think coconut sugar is what everybody wants because it's low glycemic, it's this and that, but taste is king, and that really shifted. And now everything DB's makes is sweetened only with organic fruit puree and fruit juice, and that's it. And it has to taste amazing. You should never have a DB's product that is anything less than phenomenal.
Well, you told me this story that I love about, I believe it was your son going to parties and couldn't eat the things around him. And as moms, you don't want to have the kid who's not cool. And now he's the cool kid bringing DBs. Tell us that story, because I think real world, especially moms, when we create products, that real world experience of what people are going through is what guides us.
Well, I think it impacts our heart. If there's something that leaves an imprint, I always say, like, that's the stuff that's going to stay with you. And, our son would go to birthday parties. We took him off all artificial ingredients, you name it, anything that wasn't from the earth, no added sugars, had to be from fruits or from nature. Otherwise, he couldn't eat it. And so, yeah, he'd go to birthday parties. They'd have all this colorful cake and these treats and all these things. And he'd have a brown piece of fruit leather. And it just didn't cut it. And he'd come home and be angry and kick something or hit his sister or act out. And when he could bring DBs, it was all of a sudden this product that he was proud of. It was colorful. It was delicious. And his friends thought he was awesome. And he didn't have to say, I can't eat this and I can't eat that. This was something that he could eat, he could feel proud of. And it's something that lives today. That, he's still, to this day, now he's a lot older, he will chug back our juice boxes, our freezies, you name it. He loves them.
Well, we also know when kids don't like something, they're going to tell you immediately. So they are our best focus groups. They love their mamas, but they're also hard on them, right? So
oh yeah,
what's next? What's the future?
Well, the future is very exciting. Part of the reason I started this was to have DBs accessible, have it everywhere, and also at the same time create a culture where everybody feels like an owner. And so every single person who joins the DB's team has that opportunity for ownership. And so I'd say it's twofold. It is, one is accessible at a reasonable price everywhere. Like you can get us at every Target, you can get us at every Costco, and at a reasonable price. I always wanted organic to be accessible to everybody. And we work with organic farms to make sure that we can get the best product, the highest quality. Every single ingredient is organic, but it's still accessible to everybody. So there's still opportunity for us to get everywhere and also to continue creating this culture, because those lonely moments when you're crying in your pillow, you just want people around you. And so every single leader on our team, our leadership team, are investors. So they're my partners. And then every person who's been with the company for a while has the opportunity for ownership. And I think of it as like a warm, cozy quilt, with all those patches. And every person is a patch. And we wrap around each other. I just went through a hard time with something medically with my husband, and my everybody on the team had my back. So that's what excites me, and that's what I love.
Whenever I see or feel a quilt, it makes me think of my grandma, who I miss so much. And I hope your husband
Mm,
is on the mend, to say the least.
thank you.
Um,
He is.
One of the things that I just adore about you is how much you want this to be in every store in America and in Canada. And I've been thinking about how difficult it is to have one customer set as the store itself, and then the other is the actual consumer. How do you balance those two?
Yeah, I mean, and it is a balance. I always say if people knew, the customers knew what it actually takes to get that product on the shelf, I think they'd be amazed. I don't think people understand that from the farm, making the product, meeting with buyers, getting it into warehouses, getting it on the store shelf, there is it's hard. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of networking. It's a lot of connection. It's a lot of, you know, connecting with your consumers in interesting ways so that they also know where you are in the store. There's so many layers of it.
Have you ever said no to the store when you knew it wasn't right for your end consumer?
Yes, sometimes we'll see a price, a sticker price, and we're in shock because we know what we sold to them. We're very fair and equitable across the market. And when we see this high sticker and we kind of, we'll say, hey, like, what's going on here? Because people will kind of reach out to us and say, hey, it's so expensive. And we're like, so that's tough because you don't really have a say
Right,
with the store. But we've also said no when we know we also can't survive at a price that we have to sell to the store, and they're going to mark it up anyway.
right,
But we need to survive. And I think as entrepreneurs, we need to know when to say, okay, we need the financial wherewithal in order to say, no, this isn't going to work because it's not
right.
sustainable. And then
And
you
not
can't
right.
survive.
Right. I mean, that's the whole
Yeah.
thing. You want to be able to serve your core customer in a way that's both fiduciary appropriate, but also the best product in the world. I get it. So what do your kids think now? I mean, this all started with the tea sickles in the kitchen. Are they proud of their mama?
I think they're proud of their mama. It's very much a family. Every single thing that happens is we talk about it at the table. Both my kids are in entrepreneurship now. They both did a science degree, or they're doing a science degree, and they're both young, starting entrepreneurs.
Oh, I
So
love that.
it's interesting, and so now they'll come to me for advice, and we'll chat through things. And I always say I went to school to be a PhD, and then I went to the school of hard knocks to be an entrepreneur.
I think that second one's really a lot even harder, right?
Oh, gosh, yeah, much harder. Yeah,
I mean, we got to be
absolutely.
crazy every single day. So any new products coming out that you're fired up about?
Yes, we have our juice boxes actually right above me there.
Oh, yay!
Yeah. So they're their first all organic kids prebiotic juice boxes. And so those are just coming out all across the natural market. We're also in some of the Costco regions. It's delicious. David, my son, was one of the biggest taste testers of this. And it's not until David says, "Yep, Mom, it's really good," that I think, okay, this is going to be awesome. So yeah, we're really excited
That's
about that.
so exciting. I can't wait. Well, you are a blessing, and congratulations on the growth, on the roller coaster. Congrats on being a little bit crazy. And most of all, creating a product that is that warm quilt makes us all feel healthy and good about ourselves. Most of all, thanks for coming on the show, Doc.
Well, thank you. And thank you for your incredible personality and your amazing show. I just admire you so much. So thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. At the end of each episode, I like to give a shout out to a small business that's doing amazing work. Today, I'd like to shout out one of Dr. Dionne's favorites, Benny. Benny is a wellness beverage brand founded by 2 university students that creates clean, functional energy drinks made with natural ingredients like yerba mate and adaptogens. The company focuses on providing everyday energy without the jitters or the crash, positioning itself for a better-for-you alternative in the energy drink market. You can check them out at drinkbenny.com. Thank you, Dr. Dionne, for coming on the show, and thank all of you for joining us. We've hoped you've learned a lot. This has been a big idea from Yahoo Finance. You can come say hi to me on any of my social channels at Elizabeth Gore USA. Also, scan the QR code below to follow Yahoo Finance Podcast, or check us out where we get your podcasts on the big idea. I'm Elizabeth Gore. As my grandma always said, hold your head up high and give them hell. See you next time.
This content was not intended to be financial advice and should not be used as a substitute for professional financial services.